Rock stars, Eric Andreas, your guitar sage here, long time no see. Friends, today we're going to be learning 8 game-changing chord inversions. These are super easy and they're the ones that are used the most. Now, what's a chord inversion? So glad you asked. A chord inversion is when we take any note other than the letter name of the chord and we put it into the bass, as in the lowest note. Let me explain. If we take a C major chord, it has a C in the bass. If we take a C minor chord, it has a C in the bass. A C7 chord, a C in the bass. Because that's the letter name of the chord, and that's usually what we do. But we could take any other note that's in that chord and put it into the bass or the lowest note, and that creates an inversion. Now, why would we want to do this? Well, we would want to do this if we wanted to create a different sound, a different texture, a different flavor to a chord. Think about this for a moment. You've had chili before. Your grandmother's chili doesn't taste like the firefighter's chili down the road, doesn't taste like Wendy's chili, right? It's because, yeah, it's chili. It all has the similar ingredients, but how much ingredients they put in those are typically the things that make it different, right? So when we're talking about inversions, it's the same way. We could take a C major chord, and it would sound like that, just C. We had a C with a G in the bass, it would sound like this. Or a C with an E in the bass, it would sound like this. And those are all C chords, okay? Now, the ones I'm going to show you here are the ones I'm using all the time. They can be used as passing chords. Some of them can, but nonetheless, all very useful, and I use them all the time. I promise you, you will as well. That's why there are 8 of them and not 20 of them or 3 of them. They're the ones I use the most. They're the ones you're going to use the most, okay? So let's check it out. So if we take a D major chord, the D major chord has a D, A, and F sharp. That's what comprise that chord. So we could use any of those other notes other than the D in the bass, and that will create a D inversion. So D major is our standard chord, and then here's what a D/A would look like. And what do you mean D/A? Well, if you're looking at a chord progression, and if you see a slash, right? You've seen this before where it would be like D/A. The note that's to the left is the actual chord, or it could be written as a fraction like D over an A. You could do that as well. The first note is actually the chord, and the second note is the bass note, or the lowest note that we're hearing. So here's a D. A D/A would mean it's a D chord, but it has an A in the bass. So here's an A note. So we're going to play it like this. It's a D/A. I use this a lot for country and western music. So if we were doing something in the key of D, it would look a little something like this. I'm going to go back and forth between the D and the D/A. Now, again, we have a D, A, F sharp. So if I bring my thumb over the top of the neck here and play this F sharp, now I have a D/F sharp. This is great as a passing chord going from G to E minor, something like this. Now, those are the Ds. Let's look at the A chords. So an A chord really is going to be an A, C sharp, and an E. Now, even though we could play an A with a C sharp in the bass, it's not one that I use often, so we're not going to talk about it, all right? But I do use the A with the E in the bass, which would be an A/E. So here's the A chord. So instead of me muting that top string with my thumb, I'm just going to leave it open. So again, you can hear that A chord, but it's not as robust sounding as the A/E. Again, you could use this for country and western. You've heard that sound before a lot, right? So you could also do this with the A minor. Let's take a look at some C major chords. So a C chord is a C, E, G. So normally we play the C major chord like this, where we mute that top string with our thumb. So if we wanted to play a C/G, we just put that G in the bass. We could do that two ways. We could just bring that third finger up, where we don't play the fifth string at all because it's being muted by that finger. Or we could replace that third finger with a pinky and put the third finger up to the G. So it sounds like this. Again, we could do this with a country western type feel. Right? Or just a nice robust C/G. Said a C chord was a C, E, G, meaning the E can be in the bass as well, so we just play that E open, that low E string open. I love the sound of that one too, sounds great. All right, last two I'm gonna show you are the G/B and the E minor 7/B. So a G major chord has a G, B, D. So technically we could use the G/D, but since that's on the fourth string, it doesn't really do much for us. It's just more of it's a thinner sounding chord, an abbreviated chord, if you will. But one that's used very often is the G/B. Looks like this. We take a regular G chord, and instead of playing that G in the bass, I'll keep the B in the bass, and I'll do that very easily by just lifting my second finger, bumping my first finger into that sixth string to mute it, or I could bring my thumb over the top of the neck to mute that string as well. So now we have a G major chord, but the B is in the bass because we took the G out. So this would be a G/B. Here's the difference between the two. G major, G/B. And that one can be used as an inversion, going from the C to the A minor, just like earlier we went from the G to the E minor. Used very often, the one chord to the sixth chord is what we call it. So here's a C major, here's a G/B, here's an A minor, and back and forth. Now me personally, I don't use that one too often, but I do use this one much more often because I like the sound better and it's easier to play. And it's an E minor, or it's a E minor 7/B. Our E minor chord looks like this. E minor 7 looks like this. We lift that ring finger, so it's just the second finger, second fret of the fifth string. It's an E minor 7, but if we were to mute that sixth string, now we have an E minor 7/B because the B's in our bass, right? So now we're strumming from the fifth string down, or we could strum from the sixth string down, just mute that sixth string. Sounds like this. As opposed to, you hear that nice low E sounding out. We might want a thinner sounding chord. Or again, if we were doing a passing chord from, say, the C major to the A minor, it would sound something like this. My friends, those are the 8 game-changing inversions, chord inversions that you're going to be using a lot. Listen, I know I went over a lot of stuff here, so I want to make sure that you're on the right page. The very first link below is going to give you access to the top 30 lessons that I teach all my students, and I'm giving it to you for free. If you saw me and we did these in person, it would cost over $1,000, and I'm literally providing that link for you right now for free. It has PDFs and everything to guide you through the basics of guitar. We've had over 500,000 people go through this already, and it's absolutely been a game changer. Please, friends, let me know how I can help. Leave those comments below, hit subscribe, notification bell, and all the rest. You know how that goes. Friends, as always, be kind to all beings. Do the right thing always. Practice your guitar. I'll see you in the next video. Rock stars, Eric Andreas, your guitar sage here. Long time no see. Long time no see. Should I even say that? Probably not. Your guitar sage here. Long time no see. Yeah. No, there we go. Long time no see. game-changing chord inversion. So for instance, if we're playing a C major, take that back. I'm gonna take it from the beginning again.